Whether you're interested in history, love relaxing at the beach, or are looking for interesting things to do with your kids, you'll find it in South Carolina's many engaging tourist attractions. Take your pick from high-quality stage shows, golf and water parks in Myrtle Beach, or relax at the beach and at the family-friendly holiday resorts on Hilton Head Island. Explore the atmospheric streets of Charleston on a romantic carriage ride, or tour some of the South's most beautiful plantation homes nearby. You can visit the fort in Charleston Harbor where the Civil War began, or revel in the breathtaking views and quiet trails of Caesars Head State Park. Bike the trails at Hilton Head, enjoy some of the South's best deep-sea fishing, or take the kids to a zoo or planetarium. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated attractions and places to visit in South Carolina. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now let's cut to the chase. At 10, Brookgreen Gardens, Murrells, Inlet. Set on more than 9,000 acres of former rice plantations south of Myrtle Beach, Brookgreen Gardens combines a sculpture garden, the Low Country Zoo, and a wildlife preserve featuring multiple ecosystems. The sculpture is displayed throughout an entire series of themed gardens, which include the kitchen garden, palmetto garden, and a children's garden. There's also a terrace garden filled with perennials, roses, and flowering shrubs. The live oak allée of 250-year-old trees dates from plantation days in the early 1700s. Throughout the gardens and in 3 galleries are displayed more than 2,000 works by 430 artists, the country's largest and most comprehensive collection of American figurative sculpture. The gardens were founded by Archie Huntington and his wife, the noted sculptor Anna Hyatt Huntington, in 1932, and was the first public sculpture garden in America. Each December, they are transformed into a magical world of colourful lights during the Night of 1,000 Candles. At 9, South Carolina State Museum, Columbia. The South Carolina State Museum is the state's largest such facility. This popular attraction features 4 floors of exhibits covering South Carolina's natural history, art, culture, science, and technology. Many of the educational exhibits are hands-on, which makes the museum especially engaging for young visitors. The museum also features a 4D interactive science theatre, a planetarium, and an ever-changing roster of special exhibits. Next up at 8, watch wildlife at Huntington Beach State Park, Murrells Inlet. With more than 300 different species of birds found in the park, Huntington Beach is considered the best birding location in South Carolina. But birds are not the only attraction for tourists who love wildlife. Visitors can usually spot alligators at the park's freshwater lake, and a wide variety of park programming offers chances to observe loggerhead turtles and other endangered species, as well as introducing some of the rare local plants. Art lovers enjoy the juried Atalaya Arts and Crafts Festival, held every September in the former winter residence of Archer and Anna Hyatt Huntington. The philanthropist and sculptor are also responsible for the neighbouring Brookgreen Gardens. At 7, Congaree National Park, Hopkins. An easy 30-minute drive south of Columbia, Congaree National Park covers more than 26,000 acres and is a popular destination for those who enjoy the great outdoors in South Carolina. Home to the USA's largest concentration of tall bottomland old-growth forest, this incredibly scenic area is also one of the country's prime wilderness areas, with over half the park considered an unspoiled habitat that's home to abundant wildlife. It's also notable for having been designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. Little surprise then that the park is home to an abundance of ecologically important flora and fauna. Wildlife spotters can expect to see everything from bobcats to deer, as well as armadillos and plenty of amphibians. There's plenty of other fun to be had here too. Outdoor adventures include extensive hiking trails, kayaking and canoeing, and guided interpretive experiences. And now, at 6, USS Yorktown and Patriots Point, Mount Pleasant. At Patriots Point, on the other side of the harbour from Charleston's historic district, you can tour the historic Essex-class aircraft carrier USS Yorktown. Built in 1943, it was the 10th aircraft carrier to serve in the United States Navy and earned 11 battle stars for service in World War II, later adding 5 battle stars for service in Vietnam. The USS Yorktown also starred in the 1944 documentary film The Fighting Lady. More recently, in 1968, the USS Yorktown commanded worldwide attention for recovering the Apollo 8 astronauts. The vessel was retired to Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum in 1975, joining submarines and other maritime exhibits that you can tour. And now at 5, Fort Sumter and Charleston Harbor. The attack on Fort Sumter, the federal fort guarding Charleston Harbor, by Confederate forces on April 12, 1861, began the American Civil War. The excellent National Park Ranger's interpretations brings those events vividly to life and set the stage for a better understanding of Civil War history. You can visit the island and the well-preserved ruins of the fort by boat from the Visitor Education Center at Liberty Square or from Patriots Point. Or you can get good views of the fort from a 90-minute tour on a sightseeing boat that takes you along the Cooper River to Fort Sumter National Monument. The tour is fully narrated to provide historical background for Charleston's role in the Civil War and other eras of its history. It also gives good views of other forts, the Civil War prison at Pinckney Castle, the USS Yorktown and the Ravenel Bridge. At 4, it's Hilton Head Island. While Hilton Head Island doesn't have the glamorous stage shows of the Grand Strand in Myrtle Beach, this low-country beach town offers laid-back relaxation and smaller crowds. You'll find plenty of fun things to do here, including great shopping, restaurants and golf courses, and of course the beautiful wide sandy beaches. One of the best places in South Carolina for bicycling, Hilton Head has miles of flat, well-marked bicycling trails with great scenery and signage to point out landmarks and interesting facts. At low tide, you can even ride along the beaches, as most bike rental companies now offer bikes with extra wide tyres that handle nicely on the firm, packed sand. In some places, particularly along the shores of the Intercoastal Waterway, you may be lucky enough to catch a glimpse of dolphins playing on the surf not too far from you. Wildlife watchers can also spot rare and common marine and bird life up close at the Pinckney Island National Wildlife Refuge. Be sure to also pay a visit to the Sea Pines Resort area on the island's south end. Of particular interest here is Harbour Town, notable for its marina and famous lighthouse. Be sure to pay the modest admission, it's worth it for the water views over to Daffasky Island. Next up, at 3, South Carolina Plantation Gardens. Many of the state's 2,000-plus plantations are open to visitors, and those around Charleston are noted especially for their outstanding gardens. Magnolia Plantation is in America's oldest publicly accessed gardens, begun in the early 1700s and first opened to visitors in 1870. They are unique as America's last grand romantic-style garden. Middleton Place sits above America's oldest landscaped gardens. The house is fully furnished in original style. Boone Hall Plantation in nearby Mount Pleasant is one of the nation's oldest plantations, still operating as a working farm, and is best known for its picturesque three-quarter-mile avenue of oaks. You get a rare glimpse of original 18th century craftsmanship in the ornamental details of the interior of Drayton Hall, which is the oldest unrestored plantation house in America that's open for tours. Along with showing how the owners and their families lived, these plantations now include exhibits, tours, and programs on the lives of the enslaved people who made the plantation lifestyle possible during the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. Guided tours of Middleton Place include discussions not only about the Middleton family, but also the enslaved people and freedmen who served them. Active archaeological studies at Drayton Hall continue to recover artifacts that provide insight into these undocumented lives. Magnolia's Cabin Project preserves former slave dwellings that serve as the focal point for a 45-minute program on African American history, highlighting not only the lives of enslaved people, but their later role in maintaining and preserving the estate's magnificent gardens. Boone Hall features a live presentation of the unique Gullah culture developed by African slaves, where descendants of the Gullah people tell the history of this culture through storytelling and song. And now at 2, well, it's Myrtle Beach. One of the most popular things to do in South Carolina in the summer is to retreat to the miles of pristine sands that line the coast at Myrtle Beach. As appealing as the beaches themselves are, there are many traditional seaside pleasures to choose from here. The Carolina Opry produces musical shows, and the Myrtle Beach Skywheel takes visitors on 10-minute rides above the beach and boardwalk. Broadway at the beach is the state's largest entertainment and shopping venue, with rides, mini-golf, Ripley's Aquarium, movies, specialty shops, dining and other attractions in a pedestrian-only area around Lake Broadway. Families love the slides, splash rides and swimming pools at water parks and at major hotels. Whether you like fishing or not, you'll also want to add Apache Pier to your list of places to visit in Myrtle Beach. Close to 1,200 feet in length, it's the East Coast's longest wooden pier and is a popular fishing spot. For those just wanting to walk its entirety, grab a fresh fish sandwich from Croker's and soak in the spectacular views back over Myrtle Beach. Live music is provided every night in summer, and there's a fun arcade for the kids to enjoy. And finally, at number 1, it's Charleston's historic district. Immerse yourself in the gracious atmosphere of the antebellum South in Charleston, where more than 1,400 historic homes, churches and other buildings line the streets. A carriage ride will give you an overview and a little history as well, or you can join a walking tour that includes a peek into some of them. You can also take a guided tour of several historic homes, including the Aiken Rhett House and the 1808 Nathaniel Russell House. Both hold priceless collections of fine and decorative arts. Exhibits at the Old Exchange Building and Old Slave Mart Museum reveal more about the city and its long history. It is also worth paying a visit to the Charleston City Market to watch basket ladies weave sweetgrass baskets, a long-cherished tradition here. And there you have the top 10 rated attractions and places to visit in South Carolina. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. See you next time.